Welcome to another episode of the Chess4Life Spotlight, where we meet amazing individuals from around the world, discovering their connections with chess and using chess to positively impact the world. I'm your host, Elliott Neff, National Master, founder of Chess4Life, and author of A Pawn's Journey, Transforming Lives One Move at a Time. With me today is Vishnu, and Vishnu is a longtime friend, connection. We've crossed paths many times. I'm super excited about our discussion today because not only is he a strong chess player working in the tech STEM careers, he's also a recent author publishing a pretty amazing book. So I'm excited for our talk today, and welcome to the Spotlight, Vishnu.
Thanks for having me. Yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Absolutely. So as we jump into this, like we always try to do, we'd love to let our audience get to know you a bit first. So do you mind sharing a bit of your backstory? You know, your full name, where you're from, and where you are right now, what you're focused on in career?
Yeah, so my name is Vishnu Warrior. I grew up in Texas as a child, but spent most of my youth in Seattle, which is where you are from as well. So I grew up playing chess at Crossroads Mall in Bellevue and got really introduced to the game by playing against the people there, and started playing more in tournaments and started taking lessons. And about 5 years after that, I hit around 1600 and ended up meeting you and working with you at Chess4Life when I was in high school and in college. And moved back to Texas and always kept up with chess. And now I'm around 2100 and working on getting my national master title and trying to see how far I can go. Professionally, I work as a technology consultant for Ernst & Young. So I work as a Scrum Master, and in previous roles, I've worked as a product owner and a product manager. And I have a wife and a baby on the personal side, who is 19 months and probably going to be a chess player himself in the next few years. So yeah, that's about me.
Oh, that's awesome. And congrats. And when's his first chess lesson? At 19 months or 20 or?
So, there's actually this thing called Storytime Chess. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Yeah. So that's something I started at least reading the stories to him, and then he just kind of like plays with the pieces however, but subliminal messaging at this point.
There you go. I started my first kid at age 1. And somebody listening who doesn't know chess might be going, what in the world are you talking about? But well, I gave him a safe chess set he wouldn't, choke on. And then every time he picked up the piece, I would just say the name. And like any other toys, they were just like toys you would play with. And before he was 2, he could literally name, he knew the names, couldn't say the names necessarily, but he knew the names of all the pieces. And he actually was able to set them correctly on a chessboard. And it was just fascinating because I didn't push it. They were just part of his regular toys. And he's done well in chess, but early start is great. So you covered a lot of ground really fast there. So your chess introduction at Crossroads Mall near Seattle and Bellevue, Washington, to your speed run through your career of technology, as well as at one point you worked with Chess4Life when you were in high school, which was awesome having you a part of our team then. And then it's exciting to see where you are today. So STEM and chess connection is something that we like to talk about, right? Because there's so many direct parallels between the thinking and the problem solving in chess and career. So let's actually just jump right into that a sec here. What parallels do you see between the game of chess and the kind of problem solving that you're doing in your work today?
I think the number one thing that chess has helped me with, and with what work I do, especially as a Scrum Master, is staying really organized. So my job as a Scrum Master is basically making sure that all blockers and impediments that developers are facing are removed, and just making sure that tasks that are assigned to each developer within a sprint, which is generally 2 weeks, all of those tasks get completed within the 2 weeks. So my job is really to just make sure everyone is on track, on time, and the train is moving forward to the final destination. And a key part of my role, right, with that is making sure that everyone is organized, that I'm organized, making sure I know what everyone's doing, they all know what they're doing. So one way chess has helped with that is I've gotten pretty good at just mapping before I go through each call. I will have a checklist and an agenda of things. So I'll send it out in the meeting notes, in the meeting invites. And then as I'm taking meeting notes in our Jira or ADO board, I'll take all of that information and copy it into Microsoft Teams and send out an announcement as well. So even though I'm posting the same information in multiple places, I don't have to rewrite everything, and it makes it just really streamlined, and everyone really knows what they need to do, but also what everyone else on the team needs to get done as well.
Nice. So you talk about being organized, and I see two aspects of that, being a master as well. And that has to do with both in your play in a chess game, where being organized in your thought process is critically important if you're going to evaluate and critically analyze these variations, right? If your thinking is scattered, right, you're just going to waste time and not figure out what's truly going on there. But secondly, in terms of training to become a high-level chess player, right, it takes that long-term thinking, goal setting, planning, and organizing your training time, because it is not a light task to move from a beginning chess player up to the level that you've already achieved, which is close to master.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. That's true.
Yep. Okay. So we jumped right into the chess piece, but I want to go back to the personal side a little bit. Outside of chess,
sure,
what kind of hobbies or sports do you have?
So recently started getting into working out and going to the gym and lifting weights. That's something I enjoyed doing before. Got a little bit off track due to the move. I just relocated states, so on the personal side, that's been taking a lot of time. But now that that's done, yeah, getting into working out again is something I very much enjoy. And I used to do running quite a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, so I ran a half marathon, but that was a few years ago.
Congrats.
I also like to play table tennis a lot.
Very cool. So a number of different sports. And if I recall correctly, I know this is a very interesting little anecdote. When you worked at Chess4Life, we had an annual get together with all of our team. And I'm pretty sure that you played some traditional musical instruments.
Yeah, I did. I know how to play the tablas. Yeah, it's been a few years since I've played them. Just moving around over all the years, I unfortunately don't have a set anymore. But yeah, I do enjoy playing.
Very cool. So I just wanted to bring that up and touch base. And it's always fun to hear people's different backgrounds, because sometimes you can get a stereotype about chess players. And I love the fact that there's such a wide range of interests. You know, you've talked about running. There's people with physical sports. There's the table tennis, which is both physical and mental, as most activities are. So anyway, let's move on here to let's talk about your unique abilities. You know, in chess, we talk about unique abilities of pieces. You find your areas of interest and such. What do you find that you're great at doing that just comes naturally to you?
I think my opening memorization is probably better than most. Mm-hmm. My discipline and organization is probably better than most. I keep an Excel tracker / Trello board of my daily progress and my weekly progress and my next tournament. Yeah. So I break down things similar to how I work as a Scrum Master, which is odd. I've kind of managed to use what I do in my daily work to apply to how I approach my own studies with chess. So even now I'm studying daily, as the goal is to become at least NM by the next few months. I feel that is one thing that I'm fairly strong at, is just staying disciplined and organized with that.
Very cool. And you call that, like one of your greatest strengths here. And obviously you're leveraging that at work. You're leveraging it in your chess studies. Not everybody is organized like that, and maybe some people could grow in that area. But one of the reasons we like to ask questions like this is we believe that in chess, like the parallel to life, is chess pieces have unique abilities and skills. And if you use them well to their strengths, you can create very good positions. And in life, we talk about our unique abilities that we each have. And if you discover them, the first step, and then apply them, it's amazing the progress you can make. And you've obviously been super organized, committed, disciplined, right? Because at the end of the day, you also recently published a book, right? And if you can see it on screen here, I'm sharing it. That is a thick book, a lot of great chess knowledge content. I've not made it through it yet, but I'm excited to read through this. Can you share a little bit about the journey that you had in terms of writing the book, why you decided to write it, and then your experience accomplishing such a big project?
Yeah, so I'll start with why I decided to write it. So when I was about 1,000 rated, and when I had my first coach was Al Walker from Seattle. You may remember Al. Al made me read the 64 Commandments by Bruce Pandolfini in Bruce's book, the ABCs of Chess. And so the 64 Commandments were a list of chess one-liners: develop knights before your bishops, always make sure you castle your king. And it was just a checklist of guidelines of things to just remember to do, even though intuitively as players, we've heard these from our coaches or seen it in other books before. In those days, it was books, right? Yes. Rather than videos. I think reading that before every tournament game, especially whenever I did that, helped me blunder less during that game. So I wanted to create something like that for myself, just a bit more of a higher level, right? Because that was much more towards beginner intermediate players. So what I wanted to do was take that for the beginner and intermediate player, and then also expand on some of the things that I've learned at this point now, having made it to 2100. So I called upon several different sources in order to write the book. I mean, some were not even just related. For example, I used some of the examples from 4-Hour Work Week. I quoted some of the things from that. But I also used material, obviously, from other chess books that I found that have been very, very good over the past few years, and kind of combined all of those different things just into one work. So that's how the book ended up coming to be.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So there was the idea and the elements. How long did it take you to write this book, and what was that experience like? Was it easier or harder than you anticipated? What was your experience that way?
Yeah, it took me about 18 months. So it started, I think, in March of 2020. So right when the pandemic started, I think it started right then. It was actually really easy to write the first 50 pages, the 50% of the book. Like, I knocked out the first 50% extremely quickly, just because I kept on thinking of the different one-liners. They just came to me so naturally and so quickly. And then it just became a lot more difficult to think of them. So at first it was about thinking of it. Then, as I said, the first 50% was really easy. And a lot of it, I already had game examples and game patterns. I remembered either positions from my games or games I had seen that I could easily call upon to use as the example for that particular one-liner. But other ones took me forever. So I'm grateful I had a lot of friends who are title players who helped me immensely find the examples and come up with some one-liners that they didn't notice I had in the original whatever number I had when I was writing the book at the time. So eventually came up to 200. So that's how the book the book is right now. And it's funny, after I wrote the book and after it published, I just read Sam Shanklin's Small Steps to Giant Improvement, and I found at least another 10 or 15 I could have added into the book. So yeah, I don't think the work will ever end. And possibly maybe an expanded version
There you
later.
go. Sounds like a sequel or a second printing and an addendum. That's awesome. Now,
Very
you have
likely.
referenced some amazing resources like Bruce Pandolfini, an amazing chess coach, well known for his work with movies, from Searching for Bobby Fischer to his work consulting on the Queen's Gambit Netflix series,
Yep.
to all of these things. And he wrote many books, one of which, as you mentioned, is the ABCs of Chess. And in fact, I remember reading that as a kid. And we'll see if we can link to this and some other resources. You also mentioned non-chess, but invaluable books like The 4-Hour Work Week. Invaluable resources for both chess and just life in general. So we'll try to link to some of these in the comments. While we're at this, where could people get a hold of your book if they wanted to? What would be the best way to find it? Amazon?
Yes, it will be on Amazon, I believe January 17th of 2023. So you can pre-order the book from Amazon if you are in the United States, or you can order it directly from the publisher, Fingers Publishing, on their website, fingerspublishing.com.
Awesome. Great. We'll add those links also into our references so people can find this easily. And while we're at it, one more question on your book is, you mentioned that the ABCs of Chess, that's a great book for a beginner level. You tried to do something higher level. Who would you say that your book is ideally targeted for?
I would say intermediate tournament players. So someone who's between 1,000 and 2,000 in the book. That's what Avertik Gregorian is is the person who wrote the foreword and the founder of chessmood.com. And Avertik was very gracious to help me find at least 20, 30 examples, at least help with 10% of the book. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Great. And for those listening who might not have a chess background or chess competition background, when Vishnu says between 1,000 and 2,000, that is a ranking level where beginners in the U.S. Chess Federation start with maybe 100. And then 1,000 is you've been playing some, you're getting some competencies. 2,000 is where you pass the threshold into what's called a candidate master or expert level. And then 2,200 is master level, and then higher and so on. So 1,000 to 2,000, you're really that, you're into tournaments, you're playing, you want to get better all the way up through intermediate and getting quite advanced, actually. So thank you for that, Vishnu. Let's shift our conversation a sec to one of the things we love to highlight here is the benefits of chess and how it impacts communities and kids. And you obviously have a background, right? You, as a high school student, you came on board part-time with us, even coaching students years ago.
Yep.
And then from your history, right, you coached in other areas. You've been a private coach. You even helped start a chess organization in Texas at one point for a period of time. So you obviously have quite an experience coaching chess. Can you share from your perspective, what are those benefits of chess that particularly stand out to you for why should kids learn the game beyond just enjoying it?
I think it teaches so many things. I think it teaches patience. I think it really helps you understand how to be patient. It also helps you understand the consequences of your action, right? If you make a bad move, chess is a one-on-one game, and there's no one to blame if you make a mistake except for yourself, and you have to learn from that. And if you win, that's a great feeling, right? You get all the glory. You can't really say, oh, it was because my teammate did it for me, right? So the individualistic, just the individuality and the ability to express yourself through the game. I think there's so much benefit being able to do that through chess. And I think that's something that helps players, whatever aspect of life that they go into.
Yeah, that's a great point, because we also talk a lot about the team aspect or concept of having a team of pieces on the board and coordinating them and recognizing the value of them. And then there's social aspects of chess where you partner together, but there is definitely this individual piece, right? Where it's all up to you. There's not a team member to either hide behind or, right? There's no chance.
Right.
in this game of chess. And for kids who might not have opportunity or natural abilities towards sports or some other areas, this is many times a great opportunity for them to be able to express themselves on a level playing field, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's just their own mind against someone else. So that's awesome. And, you know, at Chess4Life, we like to promote the mindsets of success. And you basically mentioned one of them there, which is we like to say in chess and in life, you can win or you can, you know, learn. Exactly. We like to say that losing is only when you just repeat the same mistake or refuse to learn from every experience. And, you know, we talk about 10 life skills, and it's been a while since you were with us, but if you were to think about those 10, which one or two stood out the most to you as important, you know, life skills, mindsets of success, and why?
That is a very difficult question to answer because honestly, all of them are good. So I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more before I get back to you. But I would maybe say the number one, if I had to pick one, would probably be sportsmanship. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I have to say sportsmanship. I mean, yeah, losing is brutal. I was just playing a tournament this last weekend, and I lost 3 games, which were all gifts for my opponents, and they were all from reasonable positions. Yeah. So that just means I need to get better at converting and better at keeping my nerves. But yeah, like I'm taking the attitude of how can I get better, as we were just talking about. And I've seen people, you know, slam the board before, and I've been such a person before, and I'm trying to get better about not doing that. So
yeah. So an opportunity to develop that sportsmanship always in the game. And I think that ties back to what you said earlier about the individual approach, right? Because if you're with a team, you can always choose to blame, and there may be truth to it. But if it's individual, it's all on you, right? And
it's always on you.
And what a great life skill that is to build, right? That grit, that willingness to go through these difficult experiences and get up again and have a good attitude about it and learn from it and move forward. So appreciate that. Well, as we're wrapping up here, I really appreciate you joining the spotlight and touching base on this and sharing about your book and these elements. Are you up for challenge me to a chess game?
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a good one.
Awesome. Well, what we'll do is we'll transition to that in a sec. And for everybody who's watching, just remember, like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any of these amazing stories that we hear from around the world. Grateful to have Vishnu on as a special guest today. And now we're going to transition and play a quick speed chess game. So hang tight. So here we are about to do a chess challenge with our guest, Vishnu. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm sending a challenge link right now. And I'll share the screen. Here we are. Okay, are you up for that? 3 minutes each side. So for those watching, it means we've got to finish all of our moves in literally 3 minutes per side. So this should be a fun game, win, draw, or learn. And I've chatted you the link, Vishnu. Do you see it?
Yeah.
So go ahead and accept the challenge when you're ready. And I may talk through the game a little bit because I like to comment where I can, but sometimes we just focus upon the game.
Okay.
Chat in Zoom has the link.
Yep, I got it. All right. Good luck.
Here we are. Same to you. Okay. So we're battling for the middle. And if you play chess, this is called the French defense, where we build this row of pawns up the middle. And now we've got what's called a pawn chain, where the pawns are facing each other. And the light pieces have a strong, long chain here. And the dark pieces are trying to break it down a little bit. So this is going to be quite a battle, I'm sure. So if you're watching this game, my king has had to move, which means I cannot castle anymore. Vishnu has given up a pawn in order to cause that. So he's got some initiative against my loosened king. And I'm going to try to battle out of danger here.
Ooh, that was a mistake for me. I wondered there.
It happens when we're doing a blitz
game.
Yeah,
that one's over. Yeah, that one's over. All right, good game, Elliott.
And okay, so Vishnu resigns here because this knight is now defending against what Vishnu was trying to do, which was checkmate me. And so that defense also opens my queen. It's still challenging here in the sense that we could go to an analysis board. And right here, while I do think you're correct, I'm ahead too much. I was wondering if you could get away with knight takes here, but I don't think so because I have the intermezzo queen here hitting your rook, knight, leaving this knight on pre. Yeah, very cool. Do you want to do a quick rematch or just call it good?
Sure. Yeah, we'll do one more.
Awesome. I'll send you a rematch here. Here's our game. How do I get a rematch going?
I think if you just click on my name and then click there. Yeah, if you go back.
There we go.
And if you just click there and then you click on the two swords.
Exactly. Yep. There we go. And since I was black, I'll take white if that's okay.
Yep. All right.
Okay. One quick rematch. Here we go. I'll try the same start. Oh, you're going to do the same first. Okay.
I've been playing this again.
Hey, let's do this. Let's see where we go. So we started out with the first couple moves the same, but now we're into new territory.
Now it is new territory. That is correct.
I've got to think about this here because there's some strategic choices.
There are. Yeah, this was a big decision here.
So I'm going forward on the king side, meaning over where this king is. And if you're following this along also and want to see a little strategy here, you can see how the dark pawns are more on the left side of the board, whereas the white pawns are a little bit more on the right side of the board. So that kind of sets the battle lines or the where we're likely to pursue our attacks. So here also we're Nice tactic.
Almost missed that one.
Very nice, because look, everyone, my queen is unprotected, which means if I took this knight, which looks free, then Vishnu wins my queen. If I take his queen, he takes my knight, check, an intermediate move. So I've got to make a choice. I'm going to be down this pawn, at least. What do I do? And
yeah, I think that's the only move. Sometimes those moves are a little easier to find because you don't have any choice.
that is also true. Sometimes the choice has to be made by deduction or reduction. Eliminate the options and what's left must be played. So I'm in a awkward position here, to say the least, trying to survive, trying to find some options, and my time is running down at the same time. So I better just move since I've got 21 seconds. Vishnu's position is obviously the preferred.
Baby said, peekaboo. Papi said, oh, I see you. What game does baby want to play? What game does baby want to play?
Ooh, I would have blundered if I moved the queen. I think I have to do this.
Game does baby want to play? Then we have to pick up. I see you. Why does baby want to play?
You win on time. Hey, good job.
Yeah, happens
And
sometimes.
another fascinating game here, because wow, I blunder where you take advantage of this tactic right here. Once again, I show that for everyone. Cool tactic. Notice, everyone, my queen has no defense, and there's a discovered attack on it that Vishnu finds this amazing shot. And if I were to play knight, queen takes queen, then simply knight jumps in check. If I go here, first comes check, I take back, and then takes back, and we traded queens, and I'm down a pawn. So I tried to complicate things to get something going. But again, well played, Vishnu. And here I'm just in trouble trying to survive. And then we got into a little bit risky tactics here.
Yeah, you found a nice trick with rook b1.
This trick, and for those that are watching, trying to see why Vishnu gave up his queen, notice that if the queen had gone sideways, I would have just taken the bishop. And if queen takes, do you see how the bishop lines up on the queen, allowing me to play check over here, winning the queen? And so Vishnu found a best way to give up the queen, getting more material, and now having threats on my king. And my king is wide open. It's difficult, but most critical, I was too low on time, and I end up running out of time, even though I've got a slight edge here. So Vishnu,
yes.
Pleasure playing the games with you.
Pleasure playing the games. Yeah.
Looking at them here, analyzing, win, draw, or learn. There's always things we learn from these. So fun seeing you again. Congrats on your book launch. And thank everybody you. Watching, remember to like and subscribe to see more of these fun episodes. Take care, Vishnu.
Thank you. Take care. Bye, Elliott.